they better lie low. Mind racing, I'm crazy, I'm just a psycho. No teller for algo, so they better lie low. Mind racing, I'm crazy, I'm just a psycho. Yeah, 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 yeah. Psycho. Yeah, 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 yeah. Mind racing, I'm crazy, I'm just a psycho. Yeah, 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 yeah. Psycho. Yeah, 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 yeah. Excuse me, like you have no manners. The man of my city, you're mapped up. So many are critics, but jealous, I'm litty. They numbers do not match the standards. So I'm from a gritty on China's. T'Challa, I'm really a panther. I don't want your pity, I'm ready, let's get it. I'm about to make this shit an anthem. Let me for the body like, let's go. You lanes really get me upset though. T-Rex such a nigga, wish let yo. I want other smoke like petrol. Gas to the mass on day, whoa. Bad shit get thrashed on set, bro. Psycho, they call me your idol. Won't watch you do that slow, I'ma answer to the bio. Tell her how far I'll go, so they better lie low. Mind racing, I'm crazy, I'm just a psycho. No tell her how far I'll go, so they better lie low. Mind racing, I'm crazy, I'm just a psycho. Yeah, 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 yeah. Psycho. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Kiss your words away, do not waste your time. Lingering, pondering, save your space and wine. You are not a tree, just move if you don't like where you are, where you are, where you are. Every time I think about all the things I live without, motivates me, it's a do or die. Fear, no fear, it's worth a try.
I lost people over pet. I don't regret it, and every time I think about it.
It is time for week 2 of the Longer Arena Clash League of Legends. My name is Stanley Greyheart Barker. I am joined by the magnificent Stuart Sin McLeod.
And we are back for week 2. We got 2 more exciting matchups tonight. and they're going to be coming to you shortly. We're really excited to bring this again because there's been some changes to the meta. I'm excited to see what they do bring and how we see these drafts play out as they goes on.
But before we can bring you into Champs, let's tell you all about the action we are going to be seeing. Our second game later on this evening, we'll be seeing Stratford Spartans, who we saw in action last week, going up against the one team from Group 1 we didn't see last week. That is the London Lionhearts. But before things get started, we are going to be seeing Preston Invincibles. And I wonder who they might be going up against. We're about to see a moment of history, Sin, because for the first time ever on Belong Arena Clash, the waistcoat is gone. The waistcoat's gone.
No, this isn't happening. Oh wow, he actually brought it today. He brought the support for the Bristol Smugglers. Okay,
my boys, the Bristol Smugglers, so the Smuggly boys.
There's a reason for this. There's a reason he's actually brought it along today, because this is the first time that Stan has potential to not be disappointed by the Bristol Smugglers. They actually have a decent roster this season. They brought over the roster from the Bristol Brawlers, and they look like they could compete with this roster.
They certainly do. We're going to have a chance to see those rosters in just a moment. But first of all, let's have a little look at the tables as they stand from last week. Up there in Group 1, which we saw all the games from last week, the Vikings and the Pirates picking up those crucial wins against the Spartans and the Spectres. The London Lionhearts, who are yet to play, will be seeing them in action later on today.
Yeah, the problem last week we had was the Pirates just ended up getting massively behind in the early games and still somehow pulled out the victories against the Stratford Spartans, who looked very strong in the early game. We were saying they could contest the London Lionhearts, but we need to see them show that late game stability that we just didn't get from them last time around.
Looking into Group 2, we see some of the teams who we have not seen on the Arena Clash broadcast just yet, which we'll hopefully be seeing very, very soon. They are, of course, the Saints and the Rams with one win apiece, the Steelers and the Harriers having just the one L in their record column. The Enigmas, the Steelers haven't played, the Enigmas have got that loss.
So both of our finalists from last season having had bye weeks. We're not really sure what sort of power level we expect to see from them yet. And looking forward to seeing the London Lionhearts later, but the Seaside Steelers once again have gone away. They've boot camped, they've become stronger, and we need to see them show up in this group. We need to see them pretty much ace this group if we think they've got a shot to win the finals.
Group number 3 is where my Smuggly boys lie, where some of our attention will be tonight, along with the Bristol Smugglers in Group 3.
And we got the Preston Invincibles as well.
Of course, the team that they are playing today, as well as, I believe, the Centurions, and also the Nighthawks.
Yeah, the Centurions and the Nighthawks.
One other team
one
who
of
are
those teams
also
has got a bye week.
Excellent.
Yeah, so the
here they come.
Norfolk Nighthawks in that group, and the final team is the Lakeside Leviathans, who I believe most of the roster hasn't changed this season. They had a fairly solid roster last season. It was their first ever season in Arena Clash. A lot of the admins were very surprised that the roster was doing so well. They were really excited, and now that roster's got a bit more experience under the belt, they've had a bit more time playing together, hopefully we can see them level up for this.
And they picked up a win last week against the Smugglers, the Invincibles beating the Centurions, Nighthawks having their rest week. Moving over onto group number 4, and maybe when we finally get to cast this one on stream, you get to do the whole Superman ripping off your shirt thing, because the Clyde Claymores are in there.
Yeah, my boys, the Clyde Claymores. After a disappointing last season, yet again, getting knocked out in the semi-finals, I'm hoping to see them come back into it and show that they can have that same level of strength. Of course, we've got one of our new teams in that group as well, who they're going to be going up against. It's the Bears.
That's right. Yeah, we'll show you the rest of that and how they're doing in just a moment if we're able to.
But I want to talk a little bit more about the Clyde Claymores, because they were really they were really good in the group stages of the last split. But the moment we saw them get to that knockout stage, they got instantly upset by the Kingston Harriers, who looked very strong, you have to say, in that matchup where the Clyde Claymores disrespected them. They ended up coming out with their strong picks like the Draven, and that was how they managed to get to the semi-finals in the first place.
Well, currently the Claymores not looking so hot with that loss against the Hunters last week. The Guardians and the Bears still yet to play.
Yeah, the Guardians as well, another team that last season we thought we had hopes for. We had some big hopes for Tyneside Guardians, and yet again, not quite being able to make it. The previous season, they were knocked out by their sisters across the water, the Teesside Steelers. So it's a difficult setup right now for the Tyneside Guardians, because they've got to prove that they can compete with this 2-time finalist now to even have a chance of facing London, who have beaten them convincingly in those finals. They're kind of looking for that tier 3 sort of position. And it's rather unfortunate for them, because they have to show so much more for us to really believe in them at all.
And they need to show it soon, because the thing is, with the way that these groups work, each team only playing each other once. You've only got 4 matches. Usually after week 1 of something, you look and go, oh, there's plenty of time still to go. You can afford that early loss, but actually you can't afford these little slip-ups. These teams, they need to start racking up those wins if they want to be looking towards the playoffs, which we ourselves will be doing very soon.
I mean, we talked about it with the Portsmouth last week as well, especially after they lost that 2-0 to... after they won that 2-0 rather over the Stratford Spartans. Stratford looked so good, but if they aren't able to close it out and they lose that one game, we've seen from the Portsmouth Pirates over the last few seasons that one game is all it requires to knock you out of playoffs so convincingly, even though you could have been the better team, you could have had better opportunities to make those playoffs. It's just, if you don't show up on the day, if you can't secure it on that one day, the rest of the weeks don't matter. You have to secure it when it matters, and it's against those rivals, the Portsmouth Pirates.
Yeah, the first match that we're going to be looking at today is going to be the Bristol Smugglers going up against the Preston Invincibles, and we're going to be able to have a look at those rosters in just a moment. Here they come for the Bristol Smugglers. It's going to be Elusive, Thane, AD, Lingling, and C-Nut.
Okay, as we said, the Bristol Smugglers, having brought over Thane, having brought over Addy from the Bristol Brawlers, who were better than the Smugglers last season, have consistently been better. The Smugglers moving into that different arena to play there. Excited to see if they can level up the Smugglers, give your support a reason, or if it is going to be the Preston Invincibles, who had a kind of shaky split last season. They weren't too bad, but they were kind of third in their group. Didn't really look like they were challenging for top 2. See if they can step up, because the Smugglers, they lost last week.
Playing for the Invincibles, we're going to have Joex, Brickenhead, Alpha Chinchilla, Cottontail, Frizz. Oh, don't even ask me that. And Sonda.
Citrazui?
Sure. Well, they are the teams. We'll see just who is left on the...
Banjo-Kazooie?
Apparently,
it's Banjo-Kazooie's birthday.
Banjo-Kazooie.
That's the name, right?
Happy birthday to you. We can't pronounce your name.
Yeah, I apologize, Citrazui.
So they are going to be the players playing. Obviously, one of the Invincibles will be left on the bench, possibly someone that we might see subbed in going into a game 2 if needed. These are, of course, best of 3 series we're going to be looking at, bringing it to Champ Select just as soon as it starts.
Yeah, looking to get into this one soon, but I'm excited to see what we really see from Thane this time around, because he's likes to play those sort of control mages in the mid lane, has generally been had a lot of bans towards him, like the Corki was taken away from him so often because he plays a ton of that. He's got a lot of these sort of comfort safe picks, and in this meta, that's very good. You can play those comfort safe picks if your top laner has something aggressive that you can play prio.
I know you're pretty excited for our pick ban tonight, Sin. We are live on patch 10.4. Quite a few changes made. Some champions suddenly viable or not viable in your own words.
Keynotes, guys.
But here we go.
Soraka, dead, gone, buried. Get her the hell out of here. Ornn, you have to ban this champion or you lose the game. Those are the keynotes. That's all you need to really know, but if we're going to go over some cliff notes on the side of that with an asterisk, yeah, Diana's better now because she is a flex pick between 2 roles. We've been seeing Diana show up more in the jungle. She's got a very sort of similar playstyle to Lee Sin in the jungle. Good at the early game, has some good agency, but she scales far better than that pick. So you have to ban her away because those buffs to make her a jungler have pushed her a little bit over the edge in the jungle.
Braum is, of course, one of those champions who you do take if you're a little worried about the Ornn.
But it's also terrible because you shouldn't be picking Ornn. If you're blind, you shouldn't be picking Braum. If you're blind picking Braum, you're playing the game poorly. If you blind pick Braum, you pick a mage into it, you instantly lose the game. You pick the Karma, you pick the Zyra, you pick the Bard into the Braum instantly loses the game. You can't play lane, you lose instantly. The only way that Braum doesn't lose is if he's playing against a melee support and like an Ezreal that can't shove him in.
There we go, Nautilus being taken away by the Preston Invincibles. Aphelios already banned by the Smugglers, and they take Silas away too.
Just pick Ornn. Like, this is the...
I can now tell that you are ever so slightly triggered.
He's got a 57% win rate in solo queue right now. It is mental. The Sunfire Cape buffs have been so huge to him. Set is not a counter. You beat Set in the 1v1. You beat Set in late game impact because you get that 3k, 4k gold item spike in the later stages.
And Sin, talk to me about Ornn's flex potential.
So Ornn can be played mid. He can be played jungle, but you're not going to do that. You are going to go for either top or mid lane, and he doesn't lose any mid lane matchup. He doesn't lose any top lane matchup. I was labbing with my team earlier today. What do you do if Ornn is picked? We're looking at the counters to it. It's like, best one you got is Gangplank and just scale evenly. That's about it. Ornn wins every lane. You talk about like bullies like Lucian. He buys Bramble Vest. You lose lane to him.
Okay, well, maybe the Bristol Smugglers are looking at that and they had this set counter pick prepared. Maybe they're going to go out there and try and prove you wrong, but you don't look so happy about it so far. My question is, are you unhappy about seeing that Olaf locked in?
No, I'm unhappy about seeing the Elise. They win this 2v2 so incredibly hard on the top side of the map, the Ornn and the Olaf. I'm not sure if we've seen a... Because I'm actually interested here if we've seen a pro draft come through, because these are the picks in exact order. No, this is going to change it up. Okay, so we've not seen a pro draft. They did just lock in the TF third.
They did, and Leona is going to be the response to that. So support taken.
Good.
The Smugglers likely a mid laner there for the Preston Invincibles. And now we see a little bit of a tilting phase as we get towards the ban.
So the Leona is a blindable support, however. So Nautilus and Leona, you can both blind pick and support. The mages can't punish them anywhere near as hard because their engage is so consistent. They are so tanky and they go for that stone plate, which makes them, as I said, that much more consistent. So picking it here, being able to ban out supports and ADs in response is definitely good. You deny a lot of the potential strong lanes that can really cause you issues as Leona. I'm expecting to see the likes of like a Lucian or even a Varus or a Xayah here from the Bristol Smugglers in the 4th pick, save that counter pick in the mid lane for later. We've seen the top and mid already. I expect them to not really show too much here.
Yumi banned away, as is Victor at the last moment there by the Preston Invincibles. With those 3 top tier, sort of the S tier ADCs from patch 10.3, taking away the Aphelios, the Misfortune, and the Senna.
Senna's bad now though.
She's taking another hit.
Yeah, she's just too slow in the game. And I actually really like this Tristan. It's still okay.
That's not a Tristana.
This still has the same effect because you get to just use it as a flex pick between the mid and the AD carry role, and having that flexibility between the two means it's a lot harder to lock in this AD without really considering it, because you actually have to think, what can we pick that beats out Syndra in lane?
Alright, well, Kassadin is currently being hovered, which leaves a lot of questions for me, because we've already had the Twisted Fate locked in.
This is TF ADC then?
It does look very, very likely.
Okay, so Twisted Fate in the bot lane. I'm not really sure what to expect from it, because he doesn't really have the best wave shove early. He has decent wave shove. He struggles with trading in the early game in the 2v2, especially if you've got like the likes of a Leona and another shoving member, even the Syndra into it. I'm not sure how he can survive that lane. Maybe he goes for the AD build we used to see from the likes of Nemesis.
Twisted Fate plus Nami looks likely bot lane for the Preston Invincibles, one I have not seen for a fair time. But the last time I saw it was in an ARAM.
So the Nami, she's not really the best, but she is some good denial to the onslaught of engage that the Bristol Smugglers will be trying to throw at them between the Syndra, the Leona, the Set. This is the thing they've got a problem with. Their engage isn't instant and it isn't consistent. They really need to land like the Leona ult and then have Set run in and at least land a flash cocoon. A lot of flashes really have to be utilized to catch them by surprise. So they can play so slow, they can play so disengaged. Kassadin's going to be fine in that mid lane. He's going to scale up. Ornn, he's going to win that top lane. He's going to be fine. He's going to scale up. Nami plus Olaf, so Olaf plus healing, as we know, is very effective. He can go for the Spirit Visage and live forever in those later stages of the game. It just means that they can play front to back slowly. They can disengage all of these threats from the Bristol Smugglers so easy with a Nami ult, with the Ornn Horn. And Preston just have an entirely winning comp. The only way this game goes astray is if Twisted Fate gets 3 deaths, 4 deaths in the bot lane.
I don't think that I have to be a mind reader to guess who you're backing going into this game. It certainly feels like you're with me. Bristol Smugglers have got this.
They didn't ban Ornn.
Didn't ban Ornn.
They didn't ban Ornn. I can't give them any credit. This Ornn should have been banned. Like, literally, if you look at... Just take a look at the stats online. Like, take a look at anywhere where you can see the stats of Ornn's win rate, ban rate, and pick rate. They have all spiked up by at least 5% today.
And what are the Sunfire changes exactly for those who maybe haven't been reading the patch notes?
So the Sunfire changes are now, whenever you deal immobilizing damage to somebody, whenever you immobilize somebody, your next source of damage does 2% of your maximum health to that target. As Ornn, who's incredibly tanky and has three different CCs. He's of course got the passive CC when he uses Brittle on somebody, that counts. And he already does 15% of somebody's max health when he does that anyway, and then he's doing 15% of their health plus 2% of his health. and then he's got his ult, which does the exact same thing. Over and over again, Ornn can just proc this in lane, and that is why his win rate has spiked up by 5%, because not only is this a decent tool in the mid game, in the late game, you can one-shot an AD carry, basically. He is so strong as a tank. This kind of reminds me of when Maokai used to be able to jump on an AD carry and just burst them 100-0.
Speaking of jumping on AD carries, let's talk about AD carries jumping. Tristana, that rocket jump is surely going to be one of the most crucial cooldowns in the game.
You can see how much insecurity is in this game, because look at the summoner spells.
There's a lot of cleansing.
That's 3 cleanses. And Kassadin has TP and Syndra doesn't, so Kassadin wins lane even harder. But looking at the bot lane, like you said, the Tristana wants to be able to play aggressive, but she's trying to play aggressive into Nami, Kassadin, Ornn, Olaf. If she tries to get anywhere near them, she gets bursted to pieces. This game should fall apart for them if it gets past 20 minutes. And most games don't end before 20 minutes. So Ornn just needs to get a couple Ornn items on the key carries. He's probably going to give like an upgraded Zhonya's to the Kassadin.
Might of the Ruin King for the Twisted.
Yeah, maybe. It depends if he is going for that AD build or not. If he is going
seems quite likely with the rest of the champions.
It does, definitely, but I need to see what he's going, because he could go for the Ludens and have that upgraded, for example. Could even go Death Cap and have that upgraded if you're looking more towards the late game. In fact, Kassadin probably will look to get that Death Cap upgraded if the timings do line up. Is what you have to make the choice of is, do you go for the, like, because the Death Cap's worth 1,700 gold. Like, the upgrade to the Death Cap, that's 1,700 gold of effective stats. The Zhonya's Hourglass is about 1,200 gold. And it gives you a lot of armor, which isn't really the most valuable stat, but it gives you some AP as well. Do you go for the instant upgrade to funnel gold into your Kassadin as quickly as possible, essentially, to make him stronger so he spikes earlier? Or do you go, the game is going slow-paced enough that I can wait, I can give him the Death Cap when I'm ready, and you can slow down that pace. It really requires that audible setup in the game where you have to acknowledge game state enough and think about your build. This is what Ornn does. This is why Ornn is at least an interesting champion. So it makes your players have to think, what am I building? When am I spiking? When is Ornn allowing me to spike?
I mean, Death Crown certainly seems optimal, as you talk about all the extra gold that's coming through and the damage that we all know comes out of the Kassadin, but like I say, it all depends what the state of the game is, because if, contrary to what you seem to think is going to be happening, all of a sudden we actually do see the Smugglers getting ahead, well, you're going to want that sooner rather than later.
Yeah, so it comes down to the Elise has so much pressure on her this game, and that generally causes players at this level to crumble.
One thing that the Bristol Smugglers have going for them
is they have a cool logo.
and a really awesome fan. But
is having you as a fan a positive or a negative?
Whoa!
That's the question mark here.
Whoa, no question mark at all. That's on the Enigma's outfit.
This is why I question whether having him as a fan is a good idea or a bad idea.
The thing that I was going to say is, even if Giraffe seems to have gone against them, which, I agree with you, it definitely is looking like a strong Giraffe. I question mark the TF. I think if that had been something like a Xayah, I would have felt it was even stronger.
I feel like the Kassadin is actually inaudible here again, because they've just gone, if I pick Kassadin here, we just free win the game, because the Syndra can't do anything into me. I scale up, we win through a mid lane in the later stages because we already have an Ornn. Can you play TF-AD? And the guy's gone,
sure.
Yeah, I can play TF-AD, why not? I could just play safe in bot lane, and that's about it. If it is a pre-prepared pick, however, I'm more interested to see how this TF can impact the game.
So while I agree with you in regards to the draft, I do have one thing in the back of my mind from last week's broadcast that makes me think, you know what, Bristol Smugglers still got a chance, and that is what Portsmouth Pirates managed to do 2 games in a row. Never count a team out in the Belong Arena clash, because the heroics we saw last week, plus some of the throws that we saw last week, tell me that actually anything can happen here. You could even have...
Why are you reminding me what the Bristol Smugglers...
Elder Dragon
Why are you reminding me what Portsmouth did last week? Why are you bringing back the traumatic memories of what happened between Stratford and Portsmouth last week?
I thought it was pretty wonderful.
It was so horrible to watch as they threw at Baron 3 separate times. I actually had a chat with Doctor after the game, and he just messaged me like, yeah, I don't know what they did. They just threw the game completely. And it was one key Baron fight where I was like, yeah, I was watching that fight. How the hell did they win that fight? Because it just seemed like
in the second game.
Yeah, in the Kai'Sa, it seemed like the Kai'Sa did nothing. And he just goes, yeah, Kai'Sa just right-clicked on me and AFK'd, and then she got one shot. Yeah. It's just like, I watched it back. It was like, that is exactly what happened. She literally just right-clicked on him, walked towards him, then got one shot.
My point being, anything can happen here in Arena Clash. We are going to be getting into game just as quickly as we can.
Yeah, but the game can take a while. Let's just sit back here and discuss how bad the Stratford Spartans played that game.
Let's take a moment to appreciate how well, in the comeback, sometimes the Portsmouth Pirates did play, including one fantastic, even if perhaps it shouldn't have happened, one fantastic game-changing Baron still coming in from Divinus. It was our player of the week, and if you want to see it, go along to @Belong Esports, and you can check out our play of the week on our Twitter. We are into game. No time to talk about the Spartans. Now it's all about the Smugglers. Let's go, Smuggly boys. Make those Invincibles vincible.
Yep. We're going to get into this one. I'm interested. I'm just thinking about this because I'm trying to understand what was going on when they said, let's just leave Ornn up and pick Set into it. No, honestly, the Set is meant to be a counterpick to the Ornn, but he doesn't really win that matchup. That matchup is slightly Ornn favored. It's just Set kind of goes even, and then you're playing around skirmishes. The rest of their team composition is miles away from being anything towards skirmishes, so the Set just doesn't fit.
Meanwhile, just a mini skirmish there between Birkenhead and Nice Penta Idiot. Always one of our favourite names to cast here. It's going to be just a slow, steady start as both of these top laners go, you know what, I've got vision of you, you've got vision of me, one of us will do a little dance, the other will do some press-ups, we're going to have some fighting later on. Meanwhile, the rest of the team has spread themselves out fairly defensively, and it's just going to be a slow, steady, easy start with both of the junglers starting on the bottom half of the rift. We're going to have a blue buff picked up for Page on the Elise, and how are we saying that again? Citrazvi? Dave on the Olaf is going to be starting off in his red. Happy birthday, Dave.
Citrazvi. So the Olaf already just starting on the bot side. You can see he's probably going to path towards the full clearing because he doesn't really have many gank setups in this early game. Kassadin is not really gankable, so he's looking to perhaps just try and shut down a little bit early.
Page, on the other hand, looking for a gank, landing the cocoon onto Nami. The Ignite's burning, flash, and he'll already burned one more auto from the Elise, and that is first blood coming in. Bristol Smugglers making a strong start.
And this was the one way we said that the Bristol Smugglers could be able to win this game. All the pressure was on Pidge. He had to do so much in these early phases to give his team enough of an advantage, and that is a good start. Getting first blood for him, getting a couple assists onto his bot laners, and TF, he's already set behind. He's gone for that Doran's Blade in the early game, so it does tell you that he is going for a more AD route, at least for now.
Meanwhile, we do see that the Olaf just hovering around, taking his Raptors, not looking for any kind of play onto the Syndra just yet. Of course, there is a lot that an Olaf can go do. If it gets going in these early stages, it becomes an absolute monster.
So here's what we're going to see at the top lane here. Oh, big trade. Yeah, that's the problem there for Nice Penta Idiot. He can play decently into the Ornn. He can play decently and get good trades, but then Ornn lands one Brittle proc, the entire trade is negated. It's just so heavily favored towards the Ornn at any phase, really, and the wave even shoving into Nice Penta Idiot doesn't give him that much of an advantage here, because Elise can't really gank for him.
Elise and Olaf might be about to meet each other at the red buff, but meanwhile we do see a Haymaker coming through from the Set who had been taken fairly low already. We've seen Birkenhead on this Olaf being fairly dominant, and we do see Elise and Olaf they're duking it out for the red buff, but we're not actually going to see that action. Instead, we turn to the bot lane where the gold card lands onto Tristana.
Ornn is rotating towards this as well. Likely a flash have to be forced. No, Pidge doesn't have his flash because he flashed to secure the kill in bot lane.
Here comes a collapse. Casting comes in. Repel comes out. At least trying to get to safety. That's a lovely scat of the weak. Syndra doing everything she can to protect her jungler. Meanwhile, here comes Sepli. Arrives too late to put any more damage down.
And the scat of the weak negates two flashes completely. Citrazvi and
Joex as well.
Yeah, Joex as well, having to flash to try and chase, getting denied, and Pidge gets to live this one, but did get caught out there, you have to say.
Yeah, doesn't manage to get himself a red buff. That was stolen away by Olaf just before that trade. So Citrazvi on his birthday, having a nice time, getting himself 3 buffs.
I'm looking at this bot lane now, though, because TF has managed to stabilize this. He's winning in CS. He's doing decently. And I'm interested to see what his first item is, because we've seen some TFs itemize more towards like a Gwinsu's Blade of the Rune King build, very similar to a Varus, actually.
The on-hit.
Yeah, we've seen some of them itemize more towards just going for a traditional AD carry setup with the crit. I've actually seen some people do.
Oh, this is not looking good for the boss. He's in all sorts of trouble. Has still got his flash available. He's just going to have to get straight out of dodge. Going to recall. Going to have the teleport available.
Just wait as well until Ornn manages to get the Ninja Tabi plus the Bramble Vest. It's going to be near impossible to kill him. Then he gets, of course, the Abyssal Mask for the later stages, which is going to buff Kassadin and TF's damage. Ornn is going to hit like a truck.
Just as long as Ornn doesn't buy a Frozen Heart.
Yes, as long as he doesn't buy a Frozen Heart, he has to buy Sunfire. He has to read the patch notes, surely, because Bristol Smugglers definitely didn't.
that was the play last week, wasn't it? The dual Frozen Hearts when they couldn't get upgraded.
So the Nice Penta Idiot here going to be going for the Black Cleaver build over the Triforce build. I actually disagree with this because he's not going to be looking to just kill the Ornn in the 1v1. He's never, in fact, going to kill the Ornn in the 1v1. So he has to be looking where else he can do damage. And he has to be looking at just trying to get a key team fight where he can blow up the TF, he can blow up the Kassadin, and win a team fight that way. Because, of course, you can't ult an Olaf. You're not going to be looking for that. And that is the Triforce build. You go Triforce, you go like a Sunfire cape immediately afterwards, so you can make use of that passive as well. You go from there.
Or at least waiting in the wings, manages to land the cocoon and straight away
nice.
rocket jump over. Elusive gets his first kill of the game. This is looking good for the Bristol Smugglers. They're getting themselves nearly a 1,000 gold lead on the back of these 2 kills.
6 minutes in, having that gold lead of just about 500, definitely slowly getting there. But all the same, they are winning out. They are getting these advantages that they need. Tristana is finding the leads over TF that she desperately needs to give her team an advantage in the mid-game.
And again, just seeing the trades going in favour of Ornn. It's the early dragon, however. Infernal going to go to the Bristol Smugglers. It's a nice extra little boost to the stats, but probably would have been better for a soul later on if the Smugglers had really had their way.
That's kind of like a 500 ping level CSing there, as I watched him auto a minion that was like, okay, so I mean, I feel like this should be well known at this point. It's 2 tower shots and an auto attack to kill melee minions. It's 2 auto attacks and a cannon shot, tower shot to kill a ranged minion. So if you auto attack a melee minion, it is going to die to tower in 2 shots. Don't auto attack a melee minion unless they're being aggroed so much by minions that they are going to die already. This is basic knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to agree with you. It is basic knowledge purely because I'm a jungler who can't CS for beans, and I knew that.
Yeah, it's the only place it's different is on ARAM.
Call of the Forge God is going to come through, forcing the flash out of Set, who flashes into the charge of the Forge God, is still going to be able to get to safety. However, key ultimate out of Birkenhead.
Without having the ults or the flash on the Olaf, he can't afford to die of that because Nice Penta Idiot, of course, has that showstopper, can turn it on him, pin him under tower, and then completely ruin his day. Does at least force the flash. They're going to back away, and he's got full control of that lane yet again.
Meanwhile, Syndra CSing up pretty nicely on 67 already as we approach the 8-minute mark. Got a small advantage over the Kassadin. Neither of them are really showing their hand too much in terms of the build. Got a couple of Doran's rings there for the Syndra. Already the Black Seal with the corrupting potions for the Kassadin.
Yes, not so much of the scaling items picked up yet. We really need to see like a Rod of Ages, maybe a Tear as well picked up from him. And those are going to take a long time to scale. Not really having those anywhere near him yet.
Pidge not too happy about Citruzui taking away a red buff earlier on. Is going to steal this one away right underneath Olaf's nose. No meeting in the jungle this time around. However, Olaf will be around to try and make a counter gank if we see Elise come into the bot lane, but Syndra is here for company.
He really needs that level 6, but Syndra going a little bit early.
Scatter the Weak is going to catch when we've still got no Ragnarok available, and with Unleashed Power coming down, Thane is just going to out and out obliterate Citruzui. There is going to be an ultimate available for the Leona, who's looking for the Solar Flare, isn't even going to have to use it, merely Zenith Blading and giving the double kill over to the mid laner.
So really nice plays from the Bristol Smugglers in the early game, giving them this 1k lead. They do still get outscaled, so they have to keep this up, as 1k gold lead isn't enough. You see about like 15-20 minutes. Even if the gold lead stays around 3k for Bristol Smugglers' favour, Preston will still be ahead, so they have a lot of pressure on them. They need to keep this up because they've been playing it well so far.
They have indeed. In the top lane, they are losing out very slightly in CS, but with the way these waves are pushing, we're going to start seeing some turret plates going over to the Bristol Smugglers as they look to really try and accentuate this gold lead. Like you say, they need to do it sooner rather than later.
Exactly, and the Elise was picked for a reason. It was picked in the first rotation with the set. They had this in mind straight from the start.
wanting this full in, all in there, going straight in with the showstopper. The Haymaker came out as well.
He used everything and trades even.
Olaf comes out and now has Call of the Forge God available, looking for the knockup. Gonna land it. Brittle Breath is available. And that's a lot of damage onto Nice Pentarid, who's going to be the first death of the game for the Bristol Smugglers. Pressing Invincibles, getting themselves one on the board, and it's your guy, Ornn, who does all the hard lifting.
It's just so easy to win these trades. You can literally just play with you don't even need to really have your hands on your keyboard. We've seen the whole thing have you seen the thing with Saskio, an NA ADC, playing both support and AD carry at the same time because he's playing Yuumi with his feet? I believe Ornn's a similar champion. You can play Ornn with your feet. It's pretty easy. You just press W on somebody and then right click and that's it. Sometimes you have to press R.
I think maybe it's slightly harder, a little bit.
I mean, it's not as bad as, did you watch LCK this morning as well?
No, I didn't get a chance.
Sword was playing Soraka, and they lost the game because he pressed R after someone died twice.
Oh.
Twice.
That's not a very good wish, really, is it? Meanwhile, up in the top lane, Ragnarok is available this time as the Cocoon lands, but yet again, Olaf going low on health. Scatter the Weak is right on the edge, does the damage, and Pudge with that volatile Spiderling is able to secure a second kill of the game. Herald is going to be the next target for this Smugglers lineup.
And Pudge doing really well here. 2-0-2, has been playing as proactively as he really needs to. Olaf, I have to say, really been letting me down so far.
Olaf definitely having a bit of a rough game. Maybe birthday drinks were had before the games instead of after them from Citrazui. Not the optimal order. Meanwhile, Herald drops for the Bristol Smugglers. That's going to be Elise picking up the eye in just a moment's time.
Yeah, they need to utilize this to get a couple tower shards nice and early. Giving them onto the Syndra here would actually be huge. They've got 4 members mid already, and it's really hard to respond from the Preston Invincibles if they do choose to go for this, which they have.
That's exactly what's going to happen. We already see that Lost chapter completed. If it gets in towards either a Luden's Echo or an Archangel Staff early.
That's actually clean. I've got to give him credit. I say Ornn's easy. That was clean.
He did that with his feet, did you know?
Yeah, that's really impressive.
Meanwhile, Call of Forge God is available, and we could just see Ornn straight out go for this one. Look how low Nice Penta it is. Here comes the Call of Forge God. Here comes the Destiny. That's actually just going to be down into the bottom lane, trying to maybe contest against this Dragon. Olaf waiting in the wings, but isn't going to be able to come in time. Throws the axe just that little bit too late. Kill for Ornn in the top lane. However, a second Dragon in the game for the Smugglers.
I was hoping he was just going to donate a kill to the TF with the ult being used, but no, just being used to get back to the bot lane wave as quickly as possible. First 2 Dragons having gone to the Bristol Smugglers, as to be expected when you're playing against the Scaling comp, but now the Ocean Rift is up, especially with a composition where you have Ornn, where you have Nami, getting the ability to play a fight so much slower, having so much more control because you've got this Ocean Rift is what they need.
Massive
I don't think he got spotted.
Solar Flare is going to come in, landing onto Nami. We've got ourselves a 3 versus 3. Ragnarocking Olaf, getting good damage down. Tidal Wave dodged away from by the Olaf. Lovely rocket jump coming in from Tristana, but that is going to be a 5th death of the game for Citrazui. But here comes the Castin, already getting the shutdown. Meanwhile, Showstopper in the top lane. Ornn actually might be in a little bit of trouble as Castin looking for more damage onto Tristana. Not quite able to find it, but there's a gold card there. That's the bubble going to connect, and that is going to be Sonder getting his first kill, but not before Tristana takes down the Castin in response. Ornn able to escape over the wall, getting himself to safety, courtesy of a nicely placed Blastco.
But slowly we see the scaling coming into effect.
Scatter the Weak is going to catch Birkenhead before the recall completes.
And slowly we see the scaling coming into effect. Kassadin able to impact a couple kills in the bot lane. He's got the tier. He's almost got the Rod of Ages completed as well. Even though Syndra's 3-0-1, we know that Kassadin will have more and more of an impact than the Syndra as this game gets closer and closer to those big 2-item spikes.
So I know your thoughts on this one. So I was saying how that Lost Chapter could build into the Ludens, it could build into the Archangel Staff. Nope, not even going to be either of those. Hextail GLP completed.
This is the standard now from both Syndra and Orianna. They do like to go for the GLP because it makes it that much easier to land your QE combo. You're essentially guaranteeing it. When you're up against some immobile champions like the TF and the Ornn, it makes it so much easier to confirm your damage, get that big burst combo on those immobile targets, try and remove one from the fight. Obviously not the Ornn as the game gets later, but the TF certainly.
Meanwhile, Kastin's still looking to start getting stacking as he takes a lot of damage, and he's got to be careful because Unleashed Power is going to be available. Here comes Elise looking for potential Cocoon. He's going to land it despite the potential Rift Walk. Elise going up into the air, dropping back down, looking to try and finish off Kastin, but instead having to flash away, realizing one more turret shot would have been the doom of the Spider Lady.
Not only that, but one full combo by Joe X that would have ended him.
This is some damage being done basically under turret by Ornn.
He missed his brittle proc 3 times and auto attacked minions instead.
I mean, he still took 2 turret shots and still won the trade. So yeah, I'm starting to see your point about this Ornn. Meanwhile, that is going to be a cocoon connecting. Good damage being put down by Page, but that is just such a tanky Ornn.
Honestly, he could have just turned that there. He could have literally turned it on 1v2.
Someone who might not be able to do that is the Twisted Fate, doing everything he can, already burning the cleanse to try and get away from the Leona, who takes 3 turret shots and survives. Meanwhile, Tristana...
He's got the Nami though, so Nami can heal him up. He can get back into this lane.
Tristana is a kill and a few CS up as well. Has got that bounty on her head.
Tristana having the Storm Razor completed, as you're alluding to, the strength of the Tristana pretty big at this point. She really needs to get like the 1 item spike going and then the 3 or 4 item spike going. Because she's been given this almost free lane where TF isn't going to give her kill pressure at any point, the fact that she can go for this Storm Razor instead of the Blade of the Rune King kind of indicates the more scaling build she has to go for because of the pressure of this Ornn.
And also we have to start looking at what build is going to be coming out of the Twisted that we talked about earlier on. Already Blade of the Rune King has been completed. A couple of daggers there tell me that we're probably going to be seeing a Rage Blade fairly shortly after.
Yeah, likely so. Just gives him that much more AP damage as well, doubling the on hit, making your E do that much more damage. It just gives you a lot of stats that you like.
Certainly does, and with the change with the shred for magic resistant armor now on the Rage Blade as well, even more that can be done with that particular build. Obviously taking away the old double procs, but still a pretty tasty item on the right champion.
TF's still just a worse Varus here. So it's still very difficult to really utilize in those later stages because you have to get into so close range of people. This isn't the Triforce TF that we saw in the mid lane a couple patches ago.
16 minutes almost now, and we are looking at the 3rd dragon just spawning in about 30 seconds time. Preston Invincibles already trying to sweep out some vision, trying to get themselves in a position where they might be able to contest this first Ocean Dragon.
Yeah, they really need to start contesting these because giving up Ocean Soul when they, as I said, want to play a fight very slowly is pretty much a death sentence for a Kassadin who really wants to be in and out, similar to a LeBlanc in that regard.
It is going to be the volatile Spiderling that is going to find out the Olaf as we see yet more vision cleared out by the Bristol_Smugglers. And now the Dragon is surely going to be started up. What sort of pressure can the Invincibles put down onto the Smugglers? Neither of the top laners have teleport, but Ornn's already walking, starting to make his way towards the Dragon. Set still completely stuck in the top lane, will have no way of joining. It looks like the Smugglers are looking for a pick and they find it onto the Olaf, who has to flash himself away while Ragnarok.
Yeah, having to use ult and flash, really risky here, but of course he is going to be backed up by the Ornn very shortly. He is healed back to full. They have to concede this fight because Set isn't there.
This is straight out 5v4 as things stand. The Smugglers find themselves on the receiving end of the tidal wave through purely for zoning potential, with Set arriving to this party very much so too late. The Smugglers will have to look for some kind of steal. What has Page got in his locker to try and get this one out? It's not going to happen. Corn Forge God comes through, finds the knock-up on Page. Here comes the Kassadin chasing away. Lands, that's going to be the Cocoon landing, however, decent knock-up, and just like that, Birkenhead gets his 3rd kill of the game, this time onto the Elise.
They just had to concede the fight because Ornn resets so much earlier than Nice Penta Idiot. You can't be pushing up there if you don't have the TP. Your team's reset and is positioned around Dragon. They gave up that Dragon because of the positioning of their top laner.
Wow, that was some damage right there onto Sonder. He just took pretty much only the unleashed power and lost 3/4 of his health bar to this Syndra.
It's still very strong Syndra, 3-0-1. We have to acknowledge how accelerated she is. And because you don't really want to be upgrading the Might of the Rune King first to give that to Sonder, he's not really going to get any stronger anytime soon. He isn't going to get this Ornn upgrade. That makes it much more difficult for him to play.
Oh, Syndra walking into all sorts of trouble. Here comes the Destiny. That's going to be the Zenith Blade defensively by the Leona. But look at that Cocoon, not in time, however, to save Syndra. Thane is going to die, giving away that big old shutdown to the Kassadin, who picks up the kill. The Herald was started up, however, I believe it wandered off and will reset.
The Herald can now be taken, though, because there's no one here to contest it. In the meantime, TF's getting this bot wave. He has to back off there, though, because he is at risk.
He is indeed, already having used the Destiny, but I'm not entirely sure whether Leona and the Tristana are going to be able to catch up to him in time.
I feel like he just watched that one Faker game from Worlds and went, yeah, TF's good, right? As Faker won the game against RNG entirely by split pushing his TF, because all of his ults so far have just been to the side lane.
That is exactly what happened. Of course, there is limited range on the early levels of that Twisted Fate Destiny, so not always going to be able to get to every fight if you haven't positioned correctly in before it. Meanwhile, Set doing everything he can to try and stay even vaguely level with this
He's
Ornn, but
almost got the Abyssal Mask as well, which means you insta-win the matchup.
yeah.
Can even go Stone Plate after that if he so chooses. He's going to be so unkillable at almost all phases of this game, especially as we see them pick up more Ocean Drakes. It's going to become even harder to kill him.
It is indeed, and that first Ocean Drake, the first of potentially 4 for the Preston Invincibles, is such a big deal for them to be able to rotate and get that. The pick was almost there onto Citruzui, but he gets away this time, and as the 5 vs 4 starts, we saw how the Smugglers immediately missed out.
So the bot tower is gone, the top tower is low enough from Ornn pushing it anyway, he's naturally getting enough of that advantage. I think they should be looking to drop the Herald mid as soon as possible. All 5 of the Bristol Smugglers positioning towards the top side of this map. Maybe all 5 looking to try and dive the Ornn. They need to blow open this mid lane tier 1 because they've already lost theirs to try and re-establish pressure in their jungle.
Oh, Vision gets put down. Scatter the Weak going narrowly wide there of Nanami, who would have been in a lot of trouble.
By losing their mid lane tower, they don't have control of this topside jungle. They need to use that Rift Herald effectively to get back control.
Caston split pushing in the bottom half of the map. Of course, we saw
both side
Twisted
lanes.
already able to push out one turret. Caston continuing that shove even further up. Elise and Syndra come across to deal with it, and that means that mid lane pressure is relinquished. The Preston Invincibles are starting to win out in multiple places, especially here in this top lane, where despite the Conqueror, the Set is in all sorts of trouble. Nice Penta ready, that has to flash away defensively. The flash follow is there. The Haymaker is good. Here comes the Showstopper. Is the damage there? It doesn't look like it is. Dash away from Birkenhead, and Ornn picks up yet another solo kill.
And nice Penta Idiot does so much work there to try and keep himself alive, and it doesn't matter. Ornn is a broken champ and just finishes him off with ease.
That is going to be the turret going down, as well as that extra kill that we just saw picked up. And meanwhile, all of those bounties that were starting to be accumulated for the Bristol Smugglers have now either been collected or disappeared. The Invincibles, on the other hand, they've got a top lane Ornn that is 4-1-0 with a bounty on his head, and who on earth is going to kill him?
Birkenhead just kind of looks at that trade and said, this was your moment, this was your crowning achievement going for that play. To me, it was just a basic trade.
A basic trade that ended the same as so many others, as we see Herald put down and the turret almost picked up in the mid lane by the Preston Invincibles, who have now got themselves a gold lead for the first time in the game.
So they do actually break open that tower, so close to actually losing out on that one, having utilized the Rift Herald to do so. Don't want to overcommit because they acknowledge they can be turned on by the Leona Tristana. It would be very difficult at that point. There's Tristana going for now what looks like a rapid fire cannon second, really holding off on the Infinity Edge. Considering you're up against a tank, you really do need that Infinity Edge. You need the bonus damage from that, because that is the only way you're ever going to have a chance of damaging Ornn, and you are your team's primary source of damage on him.
Interesting little cocoon there, stopping the recall from Citruzui, who will not be going back now before this second Ocean Dragon of the game spawns. Of course, if the Invincibles can get this, that'll be a real boost to their chances. This time, however, Nice Penta Idiot does have the teleport available, so not only is he pushing in the top wave, but he's going to be able to join the team if he wants to. I'm not entirely convinced, however, that the Invincibles can win that 5v5.
And this Ocean Dragon is important because, of course, evening out the Dragon's score, getting one closer to the Elder, which we know Preston Invincibles will have full control over if it is allowed. Bristol Smugglers here, they really wanted to get the Dragon, because if you get this one, you slow down the Elder by another 5 minutes, so your enemy team can't get it.
Destiny coming in, teleports are being channeled, Set is going to join the fight. This is going to be the 5v5, the Dragon already conceded, and now all the kills are 2. Twisted Fate picks up 2 kills in quick succession, despite a big showstopper from the Set. We are going to see Citruzui die, but it's not enough to turn the fight. Castin picking up 1 kill, Twisted making a triple kill for himself. That's going to be Tristana flashing away as the last surviving member, being chased down by a Rift walking Castin. Got to be a bit careful because he's a little bit low on health, but he's got the rest of his team. There's the Ornn, there's the locket from the gold card, there's the quadra kill. That is going to be a potential game-winning moment from the Preston Invincibles.
Yeah, that's the big moment for Preston there, as the TF finds the triple kill after having a pretty rough laning phase where he was pushed down a lot, at least stayed even in CS and showed why he had the pick in that fight. Very effective use of the TF, and is able to kite back so effectively, give his team control, and go untouched because his front line is such a huge threat.
And the first inner turret of the game is going to go down in the top lane. Preston Invincibles now with a 4,000 gold lead. They've equalized the Dragon score at 2 apiece, with 2 Oceans both going over to Preston. And now we've got a 5-0-1 Twisted Fate as well. He completes his recall, rapid fire cannon already there, and he's building towards the IE.
There's only one tank ever in the history of League of Legends that I can think of that does as much damage as Ornn does right now.
Season 4 Alistair top.
Season 4 Alistair top, good shout. It's the
I'm so pleased with myself.
It's the Triforce Static Shiv Alistair of Legend.
Gold card lands, as does the bubble. The Unleashed power
Nice
comes through, but
play.
it's not enough. Sonda UK even turns away, throws the card out, knows it's hitting, knows he's got the kill. And he's about as pleased with himself as I am for remembering that.
And what I was saying before, the fact that he wouldn't get the Might of the Rune King in time, he actually had it for that last fight. They chose to give him that upgrade because nobody else has actually built an upgradable Ornn item other than him, which basically means, to use a phrase from LS like I did last week, they're allergic to free gold.
So what might we have seen? The locket out of the Nami?
Not necessarily Locket, but Redemption is an upgradable item.
Yes. Yep.
Locket is another upgradable item, but I think that's less powerful. They are going to go towards the Baron here. It's so hard to stop. You actually get bonus lifesteal from the Might of the Rune King as well. So it's really effective for taking these key objectives. Really easy.
TF's health is definitely not under threat in this one.
Yeah.
Olaf's might be, but he's got a Nami there, healing up with the ebb and flow.
He gains attack speed when he gets slow. It's just a strat.
Yeah, so the Baron goes down nice and easily. That's going to be on all 5 members. The Preston Invincibles find themselves 5,000 gold in the lead and looking to start knocking on the door of the Smugglers base.
And even though we have to give credit to the Bristol Smugglers, Pidge and Thane had some very good plays in the early game. They drafted the set into the Ornn, trusting it as a counter pick. It didn't work. And they allowed themselves to get completely and utterly outscaled.
Well, one thing is for certain, I don't think the Preston Invincibles will be able to get their hands on Ornn again in this series. In the next game, they won't have first pick, and if it does go to a game 3, I can imagine it being banned away because Birkenhead, he's performed very well, and he's got a champion that, as you say, is in an exceptionally strong place.
I actually feel really sorry for Nice Penta Idiot, because they probably said to him, yeah, this is a really decent matchup. You can go for this matchup. We trust you to win out.
Let's find out whether there's enough damage coming through from the Smugglers to finally take down this mighty Ornn. The Call of the Vorwolf God is interrupted by the Showstone, but it is Set whose health bar is being absolutely shredded. Birkenhead getting the kill, and it's going to be Leona going down. Death double kill coming in, and this could be the final few deaths as yet another one is there. Joe X going over the wall with the Rift Walk, picking up a beautiful kill onto the Elise, and now Thane and Elusive, the 2 carries of Bristol Smugglers. They must do all they can to defend their base.
As I said, I just feel sorry for Nice Penta Idiot, though. He's not going to have much to be sorry for when looking at the rest of this team, because they thought he could win out this matchup. They didn't realize how strong the Ornn was in this patch. They probably don't know that he didn't play the matchup poorly. It is just how bad the matchup is right now. This game has fallen apart. The Kassadin is online. He's got the fully stacked Rod of Ages. He's got the fully stacked Seraphs. He's got 10 stacks on his Dark Seal. There's no way to kill anybody now.
Well, there's no way to kill anybody apart from this Nexus, which looks almost certain to fall in the next few moments. The Invincibles just need to win one more fight as we see the tidal wave landing a nice knock-up. Joe X is going to pick up the kill onto Set despite the damage from the Haymaker, and the game will end at 27 minutes, 18-9 kill scoreline for the Preston Invincibles.
We have to censor the ending of that. We can't show the Nexus exploding there. It's too graphic. We just saw them get absolutely demolished in the later game. They trusted their early game ability to snowball, and they got a decent lead in terms of kills, but they gave up so many waves to do so to the point where they just didn't have enough of a lead. The Ornn requires so much gold to outweigh, and they couldn't tip the scales.
Why? My smuggly boys. This was our season.
I told you it was bad luck to have Stan as a supporter. The moment you get a good roster in, you got Stan supporting you again, he's willing to bring out the jersey. You start the season with a loss last week and getting completely outscaled in this draft. That was very rude.
We're going to bounce back. This is half time. We're going in. We're going to go get our beer. We're going to go get our pie. We're going to come back out after half time, bounce back and win this one 2-1.
Are they going to get the orange slices? Are you going to be fine?
Oh, no, that's the players get the orange slices. Well, I'm the fan, so I'm going to be chatting to you going, oh, don't know what Wenger was doing. He only knows how to play the ball out from the back.
You know, there's a thing about Bristol Smugglers. Just try and walk it in.
I still believe in us. I really do. I think that I've watched the early game, the way that especially Thane and Pidge were playing that one, and I've looked at it and I've gone, you know what? if that Ornn hadn't been there and been such a destructive force, I honestly believe we would have won that game.
Bringing Walcott on at halftime was the problem. It was such a poor decision that it really slowed down the tempo of the game because they started off so well. They got the early game advantage with the Elise, and then they just brought in Walcott and it all fell apart.
I'd love to see Walcott playing League of Legends. I really would.
They just sub him in for Nice Penta Idiot. It wasn't the matchup swaying or anything. It was just they switched which player it was.
Did you just imagine it? It gets like the Belong Arena Clash finals, and that VOD that we get at the beginning with all the football players.
Wait, that's Stone Cold's music.
That's actually the team that we get lining up. So we actually do end up with like Dele Alli and Casemiro. They're the team playing in the finals. That'd be incredible.
I'm imagining being on the stage and you have that WWE moment where it's like
breaking
oh god,
glass.
Yeah. Oh god, that's Gordon Hayward's music as he comes bursting onto the stage.
Oh.
No, even better. What's his name? The Swiss guy in WWE.
Cesaro.
The
Swift superstar.
Yeah, the Scion one trick in solo queue. I believe he's like gold as a Scion one trick right now. Plays only AD.
We could add a whole new level of
It's the Clyde Claymores with a steel chair.
Well, the Clyde Claymores, I mean, they're basically being represented at WrestleMania. They've got a guy whose name is... his finishing move is literally the Claymore kick.
Oh,
Drew
what's his name?
McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre.
Absolute badass.
He's been around for ages. Is he actually getting pushed now?
Yeah, he won the Royal Rumble. You want to hear about this. So he won the Royal Rumble. Yep. He's going on to WrestleMania to face Brock Lesnar or Ricochet if Ricochet happens to win. Spoiler, Ricochet's not going to win.
I don't know who Ricochet is, but
no.
okay.
But
I'm that far removed.
Basically, Brock Lesnar's going to face off against Drew McIntyre in the main event of WrestleMania, and it's going to be wonderful.
Okay, that sounds interesting. Where's WrestleMania this year?
I was going to say Florida, but I could be wrong on that one.
It's
so,
always in Florida for some reason.
I'm pretty sure it is
they
because
they've been talking about
a potential. There's a pirate ship or something, which is going to be used in like the entrance way that's at the stadium they're at. So I'm 99% sure it's the Buccaneers and it's Florida.
But, Buccaneers, yeah, that
Tampa
sounds
Bay,
about right. Yeah, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that is correct.
But anyway, part of the reason why we're having this lovely bit of filling time, and we're going to talk even more about wonderful things like me throwing ducks at Sin, and now the fact that I'm going to have to deal with HR. We just got a bit of an issue with the client, so we're just trying to work out what's going on with that, and we'll bring you into
and their lovely client, in all its mighty wisdom, has chosen to not let us back in right now.
It's patch day, so it's always entirely possible these things can happen. We don't know how long this one's going to take to fix, so we're just going to take ourselves a small break, but we are hoping to be able to bring you Game 2 of this best-of-3 series between Bristol and Preston very soon.
Magic. Remember what I told you about us. Please remember what I said about magic. Remember about us. When all the words are heard, every little sentence turns to gold. What if everybody's just alright? What if we got nothing more than this? Please remember what I said about magic. Remember what I told you
I think everyone wonders what they would do if they saw a ghost. I think everyone wonders what they would do if they saw a ghost.
I'm not afraid of your ghosts, Bridget.
I think everyone wonders what they would do if they saw a ghost.
I'm not afraid of your ghosts, Bridget.
I think everyone wonders what they would do if they saw a ghost. I think everyone wonders what they would do if they saw a ghost.
I'm not afraid of your ghosts, Bridget.
I think everyone wonders what they would do if they saw a ghost.
I'm not afraid of your ghosts, Bridget.
I think everyone wonders what they would do if they saw a ghost.
Further sadness here at Bolonga Arena Clash. Not only have the Smugglers boys lost game 1 against the Invincibles, but also we are having some pretty major issues with the League of Legends client right now, which is not allowing us to get into any lobbies,
Yeah,
not able to get into any
issues.
games. We hope that this is going to be fixed really, really quickly and that Riot are going to help us out on this one and we're going to be able to bring you games 2 and game 3, but we're just going to throw to a slightly longer break now. We're hoping you don't go anywhere and we are able to bring you games 2 and hopefully, for me, game 3 of this series as well as our final series of the night. But for now, we're just going to have to take a little bit of a chill, a little bit of a longer timer. We hope to see you on the other end of it.
In a Tahoe, I'm a driver. So they all touch me when I'm on the road. But I'm gonna roll like a dice on the flow. My advice to you, don't try to get smoke. Watch me go flip like a bang, bro. I'ma go flip like a bang, bro. Moving so fast cause I ain't slow. Picking them up like a Django. I'm telling you, I'm really past insane mode. And I gotta working on my brain, though. Don't tell her how far I'll go, so they better lie low. Mind racing, I'm crazy, I'm just a psycho. No, tell her how far I'll go, so they better lie low. Mind racing, I'm crazy, I'm just a psycho. Yeah, 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 yeah. Psycho. Yeah, 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 yeah. Mind racing, I'm crazy, I'm just a psycho. Yeah, 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 yeah. Psycho. Yeah, 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 yeah. Excuse me like I have no manners. The man of my city, I'm mapped up. So many are critics, but jealous, I'm litty. They numbers do not match the standards. So I'm from a gritty on China's. T'Challa, I'm really a panther. I don't want your pity, I'm ready, let's get it. I'm about to make this shit an anthem. Let me for the body like, let's go. You lanes really get me upset though. T-Rex such a nigga with snatch yo. I want other smoke like petrol. Gas to the mass on day, whoa. Bad she get thrashed on set, bro. Psycho, they call me your idol. Won't watch you do that slow, I'ma answer to the bio. Tell her how far I'll go, so they better lie low. Mind racing, I'm crazy, I'm just a psycho. No, tell her how far I'll go, so they better lie low. Mind racing, I'm crazy, I'm just a psycho. Yeah, 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 yeah. Psycho. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Gives your words away, do not waste your time. Lingering, pondering, save your space and wine. You are not a tree, just move if you don't like where you are, where you are, where you are. Every time I think about all the things I live without, motivates me, it's a do or die. Fear no fear, it's worth a try.
I lost people over pen.
Unfortunately, we are still experiencing a few issues with the League of Legends client. We're not quite able to bring you into the next of our games for this evening just yet, but we are still holding out hope that it will start to resolve soon. Some people are able to get back into the client now. It looks like it's maybe slightly being fixed. We're going to throw to another small break in the hope that after this one, we will be able to bring you some action. So please, stay tuned.
The sun gives you a meaning to erase your every morning. Just open up your eyes and you'll see that there's a meaning to the love-hate relationship. To the haters that wants that great. I can't hide from my fears no more. I can't hide from my fears no more. I lost people over petty shit. And every time I think about it, all the time my heart forgives. Giving everything, but it's not enough.
Gives your words away, do not waste your time. Lingering, pondering, save your space and wine. You are not a tree, just move if you don't like where you are, where you are, where you are.
over pet. I don't regret it, and every time I think about it, all the time my heart forgives. I have given everything, but it's not enough. Fear, no fear, my heart can't stop. No fear, my heart can't stop. No fear, my heart can't stop. No fear, my heart can't stop.
You were like a ransom note. If I give in, will you come home? I put everything I'd had into getting you back. I was only 17, and you were the air I breathed. I walked across a burning bridge for you, for you. Those roads we walked, I'll know forever. Those times we talked, I still remember. Is it not enough that I paid with my heart once, twice? If I'm blind to who you are, which of us was behind bars? Were you worth the price I paid? Your ransom. I tried to find a way to justify missing the signs I knew. My hands were tied the moment we met, and there was more to you. You were only 17, and I was your sick release. A hostage on a silver plate to you, to you. Those roads we walked, I'll know forever. Those times we talked, I still remember. Is it not enough that I paid with my heart once, twice? If I'm blind to who you are, which of us was behind bars? Is it not enough that I barely got out with my life? I still carry every
Maybe you were wrong for the first time. And maybe I was looking for a lifeline, someone to hold on to, something I thought was true. So tell the truth.
We are not here to throw shade at Riot Games in any way, but the League of Legends client is still having issues. So there's not a lot we can do about that at the moment, but we are going to take just another small break, hoping that on the back of this one it will be fixed, because some lobbies are starting to be able to be made. We will come back to you after one more small break and hopefully bring you some high-quality League of Legends action.
The first time. And maybe this was all just in my mind. We'll rise and fall and start again. God knows when we'll reach the end, and every single thing might fall apart. But I can't let you go. And maybe you found someone. I'm better off alone. Something better came along, but I can't let you go. But I can't let you go. And maybe you found someone. I'm better off alone. Something better came along, but I can't let you go.
So many memories. We're lost in reveries. Don't you worry, my brother. I know you would rather fly with me, stay with me. This I guarantee. Oh, we could reach a star far away, take a break and run today. From the troubles in our minds, we foresee the signs, and we will learn how to shine again. You don't have to bear this weight alone. I promise you I'm here for you to guide you through the storm.
We are trapped in memory. You are lost in reverie. I wanna fly with you, somewhere new. Just let me be with you.
Don't you worry, my brother. It won't be long. We'll
knows where this went wrong. Telling me to just move on. Holding on to regrets we made. Now it's time to walk away.
Oh, you don't know my scars, but ooh, it's not who we are. Oh, you don't know my scars, but ooh, it's not who we are, who we are. Who we are. It's not who we are, who we are, who we are, who we are. It's not who we are.
Why don't we start again? Take this back to times we went far away from everything. It's all I need, yeah. So tell me lies, fantasize. We don't need to justify what you need. Ain't hard to find, but you won't find it here. Oh, you don't know my scars, but ooh, it's not who we are.
Oh, you don't know my scars, but ooh, it's not who we are, who we are. It's not who we are. Who we are. Who we are. Who we are. It's not who we are. Who we are. Who we are. Who we are. It's not who we are. Who we are. I'm losing my mind in a wave of you. Swept me up like the ocean blue. Can't lie, gotta face the truth. I'm falling harder than I wanted to. And they say don't go diving in too deep, but I'm already diving in so carelessly. I'm losing my mind in a wave of you. Swept me up like the ocean blue. Can't lie, gotta face the truth. I'm falling harder than I wanted to. And they say don't go diving in too deep, but I'm already diving in so carelessly. Your tide is getting harder to resist, but I don't mind. Honestly, I could get used to this.
It is good news, bad news time, Sin. Bad news is unfortunately, due to the various issues we've had with the League of Legends client, we are unable to bring you any more of the games from the Bristol Smugglers versus the Preston Invincibles. As it currently stands, Invincibles are 1-0 up. That one will be continued off stream at some point. However, the good news is that we do have at least one game coming in from the Stretford Spartans up against the London Lionhearts, last season's victors, and we're going to be able to bring you that action right away.
And you know, the Stratford Spartans, they probably feel a little bit salty after last week's losses to the Portsmouth Pirates. They went so far ahead. I believe their jungler was 10-3 in both games at the end of them when they lost. So it's hard not to be a little salty, get a little bit angry. You know, it's that quote from Ninja we saw in the middle of the week. What was it? If you don't feel angry after you lose, then it means you're okay with losing and you're okay with failure. Which sounds exactly like something Seto Kaiba would say, to be fair, but... it's gonna. We have to see if that is going to be evident here, if they are going to come out the gate swinging, or if that tilt really does set in.
They have got to come out the gate swimming, or swinging, one of the two, because they are going up against one of the top teams.
In swimming.
They are going up against one of the top. We don't even have gates in the office today. We are seeing them go up against one of the top teams we've ever had in Belong Arena Clash, the second most successful Belong Arena Clash of all time, the London Lionhearts, who have had so many strong performances and will look to do the same again.
And this very close to having made the exact same amount of finals as Portsmouth, aren't they? I believe they've made 4 finals now. Portsmouth, I believe, have also made 4. Five rather. Yep. So if they make this finals and Portsmouth doesn't, they'll have matched at least that score, and they'll have to wait till next season for an opportunity to try and match Portsmouth overall. But that would be really interesting if you can see those kind of two dynasties almost having built up one era after another, because we are well and truly in this Lionhearts era now. Portsmouth having fallen off quite a bit, you have to say.
And both of those teams in Group 1, of course, Pirates, we saw them picking up a win last week, and this week we're going to see whether the Lionhearts can do exactly the same. I'm not too sure if we're able to bring you the rosters from these two teams. I'm hearing an affirmative in my ear here, so here they are. We're going to see the London Lionhearts are going to comprise of Girish. Hi, I'm Jacob, Rosalina, Kira Wins, and why you stinky poo?
God, that's... on the other side, we got Purity, Romek, Combo Carol, Overcast, Ishi, and Super Jesus. Come on, Stan, why'd you have to do this to me? Now, of all times, when we've got this last potential game of the day, we're hoping that we can bring you more of it, but London Lionhearts up against the Stratford Spartans. Stratford looking to turn around their fates, as they've been dealt a very poor hand so far.
Yeah, things definitely not looking good for them, and because obviously you're in that box of 5, if you're to take a loss here against the London Lionhearts, you're pretty much facing an elimination straight in the eye, and definitely not what you want for the Spartans. And so yeah, we'll bring you into that action just as soon as we're able to. We'll get straight into the Champ Select as soon as it is there for us.
The 0-2 is just so hard to come back from.
It's so hard to come back, and you've
especially in this best of 1 round robin. Yeah,
got to assume that the Spartans are going to really, well, obviously they're going to really want to avoid that. But like you say, it's a story of two teams. It's a story of the champions who had their bye week last week. It's a story of the upcoming team who felt really strong and then, frankly, blew it.
At this point, you got to really hope that Portsmouth has just dropped a game to York completely, and it's gone completely awry for them, because that's the only way at least Stratford can look to come back into this, because London, it seems like both Portsmouth and Stratford are going to struggle against them.
So if you were here for our first game of the day, you will have heard my man Sin talking again and again about how you cannot let Ornn through pick and ban. Usually you see it coming as a ban from the red side, with obviously the blue side having the opportunity to first pick it up. So far no ban. We're seeing the Jarvan, Leona, Yasuo and Olaf taken off the table. Misfortune, the final ban from the Spartans.
Please ban Ornn.
It's going to be an Ornn ban, don't worry about it.
I hope so. But all the same, that is not an Ornn ban, so Ornn should just be locked in here. Okay, it's not.
It is a 4-letter champion that begins with a vowel, but it's not Ornn.
Okay, so they lock in Braum and Lucian as a bot lane immediately. Blind picking Braum should spell death for every bot lane in the game, because they should just pick Xayah Karma here, and Lucian and Braum should just never have a laning phase. It should just be easy for them to lock them out. Echo as a first pick is really odd. You can rely on Echo shoving in with his Q, just getting his full wave clear and being able to roam. It could, of course, be Echo jungle, so it still has that flexibility.
All right, Stratford Spartans waiting a long time on this final lock-in. You're obviously recommending the Karma. We'll see whether
Pick
or
a
not
mage
that's
support into
exactly what the Spartans go for. In the end, it's going to be the Morgana. That's not quite a Karma.
Morgana isn't good into Braum because the stacks of concussive blows still stick after the Black Shield is down. So it's just means, yeah, you're invulnerable for a short period of time, but it doesn't matter because they're still bursting you to all hell.
Final lock-in from the London Lionhearts. They're looking towards the jungle, it certainly appears to be, and it is going to be the lock-in of the Sejuani.
And you're locking that in into a Morgana is definitely odd because, of course, Sejuani relies entirely on her single-target lockdown. Morgana, what does she do? She denies single-target lockdown. That's entirely her prerogative. So I believe that this is a poor choice again. I believe that they still have some very good ease of execution in their comp, but they are kind of being countered.
With the top lane and mid lane is still to be picked up for both teams. Well, that's at least what we expect. There could be some flex picks coming out of potentially the Echo or the Lucian. You'd expect to see the Ornn taken away in the second phase.
It is bewildering that we have not seen an Ornn.
Fiora's kind of like an Ornn.
In the fact that she's nothing like Ornn, yeah.
She's a top laner.
She plays top lane. She's in
League of Legends.
She probably eats eggs like Ornn does.
Ornn eats eggs?
Yeah, he cracks an egg on his fiery hand and then cooks the egg on his
so
fiery
cool.
hand.
I want to be able to do that.
That's his taunt in-game.
Oh, I actually want to be able to do that now. The Orianna, also not an Ornn. Maybe they typed in Or.
You got to give him credit as well because he cracks it with one hand like a proper chef.
What a boss.
Ornn's experienced.
I definitely can't do that.
That's a man who knows how to craft with his hands.
I'm not even going to make an egg joke. I just flat out would crush an egg if I tried to do that.
I've actually done it. It's not... Ooh. Because like you got to hold it like a claw and then...
the claw.
Yeah, the claw. That's the only way you can
I'm also imagining now you as the guy who throws the salt and like... Perfectly.
Pick Aurelia here.
Oh, okay, so...
Pick Aurelia or Pantheon here.
Or Ornn. Because it still got through.
Yep, but Aurelia or Pantheon with a Sejuani wins you the game.
Because of the extra melee.
Because you're up against an Echo as well. So the skirmishing power is just far too great for an Echo to deal with. He's basically just going to have to ult to safety every fight, can never use it to damage. And he doesn't really get to put all that much damage in the meantime, because Sejuani has her passive, Aurelia is still so tanky and has a W as well. Instead it's the Aatrox. If this is the legendary Triforce Aatrox that we've been hearing whispers about, then this is a very good pickup. If not, it's not so good. People actually went for this combo quite a lot, but Aatrox isn't an auto-attack based champion. He's an AD based champion, but essentially his Qs forego the auto-attack, very similarly to like a Karthus in that regard. You don't use your auto-attacks, your Qs are your auto-attacks. And it means that he doesn't really proc Sejuani's passive that often. Riven is picked into it, so Riven is just the better Aatrox, an aggressive aggressive AD champion in the top lane.
Spartans now going to have to really show their hand. Likely to be a mid laner locked in as their last pickup. Though obviously there are certain flexes that we already see that could already be going.
If it's jungle, it's Olaf right here. It should just be, but Olaf is of course banned away. As they wanted to pick the Sejuani, they ban away the Olaf, which is correct. And that is an Aurelia mid, okay.
So perhaps trying to deny the Aurelia, because you were talking about how great that would be for the Lionhearts. They've still got one lock-in, of course. We might see some changes from the lanes, but it looks very likely that we see a mid-lane counter.
Well, they could lock in an AD carry here because Lucian, of course, has flexibility, is decent into both Riven and Aurelia. Better into Aurelia. Riven, he would struggle against because Riven's all-in potential, but can try and keep her at arm's length. Aatrox, however, would do terribly into Aurelia, so you do want to try and keep Aatrox in the top lane. I think that they are going to put Lucian mid and lock in an AD carry here. I hope it's going to be the Ezreal. I was thinking...
You're exactly right.
I was hoping it would be Varus here because Varus can just land a lot of damage in the lane. He can actually break the Black Shield pretty easily with his W. And the other issue being that he's really just a very good mid-game champion in terms of his ability to set up plays. And the Sejuani is really the only way to do that at the minute. The Ezreal is still very good. 2-item spike. This is a double AD carry composition. This is a triple AD composition. They have almost no magic damage. So if Aurelia builds like a more more armor-centric build, which you can only really get with Black Cleaver, it's pretty difficult to kill her. It's just a case of now how do they survive the onslaught of early to mid-game damage without any
That's the problem.
tanks? Imagine if you had... Well, imagine if there was a tank in the top lane who did really well
Maokai.
into Aatrox and could build full armor.
Maokai.
What if there was a
Poppy.
champion that was a hard counter to Lucian in the
Season 4
solo
Alistar.
lanes? A hard counter to Lucian in the solo lanes while still scaling incredibly well.
Hold on. I got this. I know another one.
Who could it be?
Malphite.
What champion could it be?
Rammus. Zac.
Ah, that's what it was, wasn't it? It was Zac. It
there
had
we
to
go.
be. It's the Sunfire changes. It made Zac too good.
Exactly.
So, the fact that Ornn wasn't picked here, the fact that Ornn went all the way through draft, it either means both teams met before the draft and just went, let's just shake hands, let's not pick Ornn today.
Or both top laners really hate playing Ornn. Or can't play it.
Yes, but they would be
Maybe
wrong.
they don't have feet.
they would be wrong because if you are a hard carry player and you go, I want to do the most damage in the game, I want to go super aggressive in lane, I want to beat up my opponent. Do you know who does that better than Riven right now? It's Ornn.
Yeah, it is.
Ornn does it better than Riven. Ornn does it better than Aatrox. Ornn is so disgustingly broken that the fact that it's slipped through both sides of this draft is a travesty unless both teams have agreed to handshake, which of course could happen.
Seems unlikely. But
It seems unlikely, but it is so insanely broken right now that I could see both teams just going, let's just say Ornn's unfair.
we're going to be getting onto the Rift as we do, and as we see the teams running out to their defensive positions. Let me once more, if you're just rejoining us on the stream, wondering where the Bristol Smugglers have gone, much as I am. We had some issues with the League of Legends client. We're unable to get into Game 2 of the Bristol Smugglers
Who cares about the Bristol Smugglers? It's the Preston Invincibles, man.
against the Preston Invincibles, who I was about to name drop there. That game will continue at some point, and that best of 3 series will be concluded off stream.
At
However,
some
now
time.
we have the Stratford Spartans and the London Lionhearts. This is game 1 of this series, hoping to be able to bring you this series in its entirety.
Okay, so the Lucian mid has come through. Normal press the attack setup has gone for the ignite. Interestingly, here the Aurelia did not go for the cleanse, which I actually think could have been very relevant for her. She's just clearly looking for the all-in kill pressure onto Lucian at the first given opportunity. If she's unable to get that, then the game kind of falls to pieces for her now because she is just going to be CC locked by a Braum and by a Lucian.
It's going to be the London Lionhearts, who have that slightly tankier lineup, as you were just talking about there, that maybe have got themselves a few little advantages, but there are so many carries on the side of the Spartans. If one or two of them can get snowballing, that could mean real trouble for our defending champions.
Yeah, it's almost like they have only one magic damage threat against a champion that likes to build a full armor.
Jacob just landing his first Mystic shot there onto Ichi, who takes an extra stack of the concussive blows. Concussive blows?
The concussive blows
It
is
is
Brom's passive, yeah.
I sometimes get denting blows and concussive blows mixed
Denting
up.
blows is Vi's
Yeah.
W, yeah.
Indeed. But hi, I'm Jacob, just having a nice easy time early on in the flashy Ezreal skin.
I do like the skin, the Battle Academia skins, yeah.
Are you a fan?
Yeah, I'm definitely a fan of those skins. I think the
I like the Jace one a lot.
the Battle Academia J skin, I think the best one of all of them, honestly, is the Katarina one. I think the Katarina one's actually
Echoes is
really
pretty,
nice.
pretty spicy too. In fact, let's just say they're all good.
Echo has an Academy skin. He doesn't.
Oh,
have a
sorry,
Battle
yeah,
Academia
sorry.
Skin.
Yeah, I
His
was-
Academy skin, he's got a cricket
That's
bat.
exactly what I was thinking, and that's why I was liking it, to be honest.
Did you ever play cricket in school?
Well, I never went to school, so...
Oh, you were homeschooled, of
But
course.
I did play a lot of cricket because, you know...
Oh, at
club.
the cricket club.
At the cricket club.
local cricket
Yeah.
club, of course.
I have a regular Joku partner who likes to believe that I wasn't brought up in Kenilworth, but instead in Kensington. So yeah, he will have definitely just heard that on stream, and I'm going to be hearing a lot more of that in the next couple of days. I
I'm
think.
pretty sure you were just dropped off the spaceship at age 29.
I mean, I'm still convinced that I wasn't born that Walt Disney drew me.
I mean, you do seem like a very animated person, I can give you that.
Purity there getting pulled back by Kira's Aatrox hotspot. There's a lot of damage coming through. The Conqueror being procced for both of these champions, but it is going to be Purity forced back out of lane.
Yeah, really struggling so far. Riven, of course, does have the better all-in combo, but she does struggle because Aatrox gets to keep her arm's length so easily, and unfortunately for Lucian, that's exactly what he wants to do here. He wants to keep Aurelia arm's length, but she has this all-in potential. She has this damage potential. If she lands an E, Lucian's really going to struggle.
Fun fact, Sin, it was playing cricket that I learned I need glasses.
Oh, when you just got hit in the face by a ball
Over
you
and
thought was
over
going way
again.
over 3 meters to the right.
Yep, pretty much. I wondered why the cricket ball was getting closer and then it hit me. Meanwhile, Wynn's looking for first blood. One more auto would have managed to get the stun onto Jerome, but that's not going to
And
happen.
that is why you go cleanse, because you can tank that extra auto attack. You can take the stun, cleanse it, and walk away without having to burn your flash. The fact that he had to flash there makes him so much more vulnerable in the lane.
That is going to be a tough time for Jerome, who wants to get himself up ahead up against Wins, wants to get right in his face as soon as he hits level 6, but it's going to be tough to do that if that flash is down, whereas Wins is going to have dashes, is going to have the flash available. That's going to be a nice cancellation there as Kira stops Purity's back.
I'm seeing the Xayah and Morgana lose this bot lane, and all I can think of is, I wish this was a Xayah, I wish this was a Karma, I wish this was a Bard, anybody who can go more aggressive in that lane. Is Jerome going low, flash on him.
That's going to be the flash forward, and Jerome, knowing he's dead, decides to go aggressive, but it is all to no avail.
Imagine
First
if he
game
had
goes to
flash, because he went cleanse. That would have been so much more useful there. He might have actually been able to get out. But instead, it's just going to be Rosalina's flash traded for the first blood.
Wynn's consistently doing massive damage there in the bot lane. Echo taking a bit of damage, but Wynn's takes a turret shot. That's going to be enough for Lucian to have to go back to his turret for safety. Going to complete that recall, being 11 CS and a kill up. He's definitely going to have more than that cloth armor and boots we've seen picked up by Jerome.
He's really going to get a lot of pressure. He's got the Vampiric Scepter and the double dagger. The thing with the Ornn matchup into Lucian is when you get Bramble Vest, you instantly win for the rest of the game. When you are playing as Aurelia, however, if you fall behind like this, you're done. The game's pretty much going to be really rough for you until you hit Phage plus Sheen. And unfortunately, when you have to go for Ninja Tabi first, it means that Lucian's probably up the Blade of the Rune King by then, and you have nothing you can provide.
Interested on your thoughts on this one, Sin, seeing those double daggers being picked up by Lucian rather than single dagger boots?
He's just going for the attack speed in the lane because he doesn't really need incredible amounts of movement speed. He's literally just going to go for the dash as his primary form of movement. So just wants the extra attack speed, clear the wave quicker. It's fine. It's not the biggest deal, but there are definitely reasons you would go boots. If you're particularly threatened, you're playing against a mage especially, something like a Syndra where you really have to focus on dodging a lot, definitely go boots there.
Kira managing to get a good bit of damage once again onto Purity, finding a lot of small advantages here in the top lane, getting a small CS lead as well. We're seeing those early items, those sort of round about the 1050, 1100 mark items being picked up by our ADCs. The Caulfield's Warhammer for Xayah, the Sheen already there for the Ezreal, who opts not into going for the tier, to get the stack going early on, instead wanting the extra bit of punch.
I hope he isn't going for the Deft build, because Deft can only get away with that build because he's Deft, which is the tierless Ezreal build. You just go straight Triforce into more aggressive items, more heavy AD items. So would be interesting to see him try that. I think he is just going to go for tier after this, though.
I mean, Hi, I'm Jacob has shown a serious amount of proficiency in the bot lane. Some of the plays that he's made even won a game from a different lane. Meanwhile, we do see Aatrox under a bit of pressure already, popping that ultimate, trying to keep himself safe. Easily going to be surviving the gank from Combo Cow on the Echo.
Combo Cow not really able to land the W yet again, means he has to back off. And unfortunately for him, Rosalina is getting further and further ahead. And you look at Rosalina, look at that item build. What is she building? What is that new mystical upgraded item we see? Oh, is it the Inferno item from TFT? No, that's the Brahmi Cinder. It means that she is going to be doing massive amounts of damage, similar to the Ornn in the last game, every single time she stuns somebody. So you know that E-proc, where she does something similar to Ornn, where she stuns somebody and then does a massive amount of damage? Yeah, now that's going to hit about literally twice as hard.
The Infernal Dragon picked up there by the London Lionhearts, who have found themselves a 1.2k gold lead in the early stages of this game, coming up towards 8 minutes. And Hi, I'm Jacob is absolutely just abusing the health bars of the Stratford Spartans team. But credit to Xayah, so far Overcast able to keep pretty much up in CS.
And they're just invading in the bot side. They're going to pick up the enemy red buff by the looks of it, trading sides on the map as they've spotted out the Echo.
Shot barrage there, connecting onto Overcast as we see the Dark Binding onto the Brawn,
That's
but
all
that's
you
not
can
going to
really
be
do with the
any problem at
Morgana.
all.
You just fish for bindings. That's all she does in this lane. She can't provide anything.
Meanwhile, Rosalina, who does have the Glacial Prison available, is going to throw it straight out, catching onto the Xayah, who's only level 5, does not have Featherstorm available. Overcast trying to stay alive. We are going to see Morgana picking up 1 kill, but it's 2 for the London Lionhearts. One of those going into Wynn's pocket as he comes down from mid lane. Meanwhile, in the top side, Kira again in a bit of trouble, looking for the straight out outplay. Echo having to ult just to get himself to safety, as the flash is enough for Kira to get back under the safety of his turret.
ends up not really getting the key damage he needs as Kara flashes away from the W. Oh, Kira here.
Oh, Kira just looking to pick up the kill, not quite landing the hotspot, but now Combo Cow gonna have to flash away to not get pulled back, almost straight out dying.
Kara not backing off there, knowing that the ult is down from Combo Cow, forcing his flash out, forcing so much from him, but now gets flashed on himself.
But this is the problem. Kira stayed partly knowing that the ultimate had just become available for himself, but burned that to try and get the kill on Echo. The flash was good from Combo Cow, and finally Purity able to pick up a kill in the top lane.
Really good flash combo from the Riven, giving herself an advantage. This is one of the few win conditions they have left now, having fallen so far behind in both AD carry and mid lane. It's going to be the Riven getting far enough ahead. It's going to be her being a menace in the side lane, going 1v2, 1v3, pulling off these amazing plays.
Speaking of menaces, Blade of the Rune King already completed for Lucian, 2-0 and 1 in the mid lane, impacting the bot lane in a really big way.
Hey, you know what Ornn's most efficient upgrade is? It's Might of the Rune King. That's actually the most gold efficient upgrade of any of his upgrades. It's incredibly efficient. You know who would really benefit from that right now?
Can we
top laner that can't lose lane, so you can't die to a Riven.
Can we have an
the
Ornn
ability
jar?
to buff Lucian?
I think we're getting you an Ornn jar, Sin. Every time that you bring up Ornn, especially if he's not in a game, you have to, like, I don't know, put $1 in the Ornn jar.
$1? What are we, Australians?
I was thinking USA more so, but, you know.
What are we, Canadians?
Herald is going to die now. That's London line.
We're going to Tim
picking
Hortons?
up the eye, and that is going to be... I'm just having a little look, actually. It's only 1,500 gold lead for the Lionheart. Spartans stemming the bleeding somewhat.
Somewhat, definitely, but they get outscaled in this game. They really struggle to deal with the double AD carry setup with 0 tanks. So we'll just get to a point where they maybe can burst these tanks, but with a front line of Braum, Sejuani, they got nothing to get through.
That's going to be first turret going over, courtesy of a little bit of help from Shelly in the top lane. This is going to be Hyam Jacob knocking this one down free and easy. Herald will die, so won't get that second charge down. I'm sure the Spartans will be glad to hear, but on the back of that turret, we are now looking at a 2,500 gold lead. A little bit being equalised then the Stratford Spartans as they take themselves 3 turret plates for themselves.
And just trading the map, but when you are playing a scaling comp, trading those sides of the map, getting the gold for gold trade is always worth it, because you know that you benefit more from gold than they do. If they get to their mid-game spike at the same time as you, you've already won, so effectively accelerating the game.
Possibly as a little bit of a bait, and Jerome not going to buy into that one. Meanwhile, Jurish is going to find that there is an Echo waiting in that bush, just sweeping him out.
Yeah, not really able to do much more than that as wins. I wouldn't go as far as saying tanking those turret shots was intentional, trying to bait him, but having the double AD carries both mid here means it's impossible to contest, especially with the Braum nearby. With how quickly you stack that stun, it's just going to be all over. But the reason they're shoving this mid wave is to play around this second dragon. They want control of this bot side river.
It'd be very surprising the way this game is playing out at the minute if they did not have that control. It does look like Lionhearts will be able to pick themselves up a second dragon. We saw that earlier in the day, however, with Bristol picking up 2 straight dragons and then falling off, so perhaps that could still happen in Spartan's favour as well as we start to get towards the Dragon Soul. However, right now, Lionhearts certainly looking good value for their lead.
Now, Lionhearts holding the lion's share of the gold at the minute. It's just going to be comfortably going for an Ocean Dragon. Not really the most crucial of dragons here, I believe, if we get Mountain Soul. With these, you're calling a Cloud. Oh, he nailed it. Okay, but having the Ezreal ult and the Sejuani ult on a lower cooldown, definitely useful. I would have preferred Mountain here because it means that when you've got these squishy members, they become that much more tanky and that much harder to burst by the likes of an Echo and an Aurelia. But your tanks also get that much tankier too at the same time. But instead, the Cloud Soul is going to come through, giving all these champions extra movement speed. It's just as terrifying. And movement speed on ult, think about that for an Aatrox.
Still got a minute until these turret plates start to fall off. You can see that there have been 2 turret plates picked up, 1 in both the top lane and the mid lane for the Spartans. They've also got themselves 3 down there in the bottom half of the map, but look at the number of turret plates completely shredded through by the London Lionhearts. Already getting first turret blood in the top lane along with the 5 plates, and then 3 in both mid and the bot lane. This is a team that, as you have said, scales wonderfully for the Lionhearts, and yet they've still got these early advantages.
So the next item is actually going to be crucial from the Lucian here. We need to see whether he goes for the Black Cleaver, the 2-item Icon 1v3 Lucian, or if he chooses to go for the crit build, knowing that he outscales already. Just being able to win even harder. Ooh!
Wins gets dived onto the turret. Purity looking for the kill, trying to throw out the wind slash, is going to be able to pick up that kill with a little bit of help from Combo Cow. Now what can Hyam Jacob do in the bot lane? He has to arcane shift himself to safety. Here comes Jurish looking for the tag in the top lane. Is going to flash forward, put the ignite down as well. Combo Cow without an ultimate is going to dash into parallel conversion just to get the shield, trying to live. But here comes Sejuani. He's going to tag him with the W despite missing the ultimate. Now we're going to see teleport being channeled. Will the stun come in time? It doesn't matter if there's a stun or not. There's a dead ribbon.
Having to burn the flash to secure it, but definitely worth it there from the side of Rosalina. They punish them for going so aggressive onto wins. He isn't able to pick up the assist there, but he gets so much time for his team to capitalize. They lose, I believe, a chunk of the mid lane tower, but no more shards to be had means that not really much of an advantage to be gained from the Stratford Spartans at all.
Timing of the play very, very nice from the support and jungler of the London Lionhearts. We're now looking at this Sejuani being 3, 1 and 2, and she's just going straight into the enemy team. She's going to eat a dark behind him, but she's got support in Kira. And hi, I'm Jacob. Beautiful feather recall from Overcast, who eventually has to flash away. One more Mystic Shot, not quite enough to do the damage that will kill off Ichi.
And he's looking to charge up his ult timer. It's just become available. He's maybe going to look for it. No! Come on, just ult! They were so low, just ult them. Instead, just lets them get away, doesn't want to risk it. But even just cancelling the recalls there, so you are pretty much guaranteed to get onto this mid lane tower, would have been so valuable.
Combo Cow doing everything he can to defend this mid lane, but look at the damage. That's why the True Shot Barrage was saved. It forces the
so
Chrono
he can
Shift
tank 2 tower shots
out of Combo Cow.
Is that why?
It maybe wasn't the optimal play out of Hyam Jacob, but I'm looking at him building the Phage, building the Sheen. He has got the tier there as well, so it's not just going to be the Trinity Force.
Finish your Man Immune before you finish the Triforce here.
Yeah.
You've already got the Sheen, you've already got the most important part. Just get your Man Immune so you can stack it as quickly as possible, because your 2-item spike is weaker than Xayah's. If Xayah actually picks up a kill, or even just gets funneled a decent amount of gold into her, maybe gets a tower to herself, then Xayah is already even with Ezreal, because he needs to have a completed Man Immune and the Triforce to match her. The Essence Reaver Infinity Edge combo from Xayah means she can win fights, and with London Lionhearts, having been so comfortably in the advantage all game long, might be able to throw it if they aren't careful enough around the Xayah.
Credit to the laners of Stratford Spartans. There's decent CS scores around the board for their top laner, mid laner, and ADC. They're keeping themselves at least relevant in the game, but unfortunately, there's a lot of gold that's still gone through to the Lionhearts, especially on the back of the plates.
Okay, look at the build of Rosalina right now. Oh, wait a moment.
Might have to wait for this Vanguard's Edge. Bladed Rune King active used on Jerome. He's forcing the flash away. Teleport coming in from Kira. Knockup is going to be there, as is the pullback. That's going to be 1 kill as Wind takes this one now, though. Glacial Prison is going to land onto Combo Cow. He is chased out. He does not have an ultimate available, and Kira gets himself a first kill of the game and another turret secured for the Lionhearts.
Yeah, really well played by them to be able to turn that, instantly calling on the teleport. The play by the 3 of them just very well coordinated. Especially with the dragon just about to spawn, having this control over bot side is so important. They've had to recall in mid, but the visions here, nobody's willing to step up to this 3-1 and 2 Lucian. It becomes that much more difficult to play.
Almost certainly a third dragon going to be going over to the Lionhearts as they look towards their first Cloud Dragon. You were just about to touch on an item there as that kill came in.
Yes, the Stoneplate second item hit from Rosalina. Stoneplate's a good item right now. It's a really good item right now, especially if you're going it on support, where you just have to stay alive for as long as possible. With Sejuani in particular, the strongest Sejuani can be, especially when you're leveling up over the opposing jungler, you're already level 11. Warmog's second item. She gets so much damage off of buying health that it is just so effective, but they are going to try and steal Baron Dragon, rather. It is going to be secured. That is the third dragon. Now, Soul Point for the London Lionhearts.
So I'm just trying to get to the bottom of what you're saying in regards to that build. Does this mean that it's a suboptimal purchase of the Stoneplate?
Yeah, this is the problem I got with London Lionhearts right now, is they're playing really decently around the map. They are playing better than their opponents. They're moving very efficiently. The Sejuani's pathing has been great.
100% kill participation.
Minor inefficiencies in item builds. Not picking Ornn.
Dollar, please.
Some key mistakes in terms of item spiking and understanding of game state have meant that it's very difficult for them to win this out.
Hi, I'm Jacob, putting down so very much damage. Trinity Force now completed, and he is shredding through the health bars, looking for the pick onto Ichi. One Mystic Shot, and just like that, able to take out the Morgana, who had already burned through the Black Shield. Hi, I'm Jacob, throws down the True Shot Barrage. Another kill for the Lionhearts ADC.
A decently clean play there from Hyam Jacob. Played it very well, but all the same, London Lionhearts are just going to continue to clean up these fights because they do have the gold lead. They do still have
that turret
the item lead, and they've just been moving around the map so much more effectively. It's so difficult for Stratford Spartans to make these fights happen because of the way that draft played out.
Oh, that's a real sad moment for the Spartans. They're looking at the Lionhearts mid lane turret that's on round about 20 health. You know, you could blow on that right now and it would go over, but the Spartans can't even get close enough to do that. Hyam Jacob is just so oppressive here in the mid lane.
I'm sorry to come back to it, but I'm just looking at the London Lionhearts. Just efficiency choices, some mistakes. We can see now at least Rosalina's now going for the Warmogs, which is the most efficient second item on Sejuani. I can see why-ish you'd go for the Warmogs because this is such an aggressive comp you're up against. You do want to survive.
The stone plate.
Yeah, the stone plate rather. Yeah, the Gargoyle stone plate. So I can see why she'd go for this, but all the same, it's slightly more efficient to go for that Warmog, especially getting the CDR from it as well.
Hyam Jacob and the rest of his team now continuing their push forward. Feather Recall is going to get the stun. Here comes True Shot Barrage just ripping through the health bars. Hyam Jacob yet again taking turret shots for fun this game.
I'm feeling like it's that Breaking Bad moment. It's just he can't keep getting away with this. He's made so many positional errors and so many mistakes in terms of microplays that he's just getting away with because he's just playing better overall than the Stratford Spartans.
I think I've worked it out, Sin. What it is he's unlocked the Eternals for Ezreal, and there's somewhere on there that says he has to take a certain number of turret shots.
Yeah.
That's what it is, obviously.
Oh, so he's playing on the PBE. He's managed to secure that one. Good for him.
What are your thoughts on Eternals?
I think it's decent being able to track some things. Like, I've been one-tricking Karthus. I want to know how many people I can murder with my ult.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So you just get literally just our death toll is all it should say.
Well, we might be about to have a bit of another death toll added because Yirish is chasing down the Morgana. Glacial Fissure is going to go wide, but Ichi is in all sorts of trouble. We're going to see the stopwatch being used, but it's not. It is going to be enough because the flash is good, but look at the damage from the True Shot Barrage. Here comes Purity, however, taking down Hyam Jacob. He doesn't get away with it this time, but in the middle of all that, it is going to be Wind slaying Purity. The culling thrown down, the flash comes out of Overcast, and once again, dominance from the Lionhearts at the end of this fight.
He didn't keep getting away with it. He gets shut down by Purity as he dives into the fight, able to remove the AD carry, even though they lose the fight overall. It is a 1-for-1. They have to back away. But if they keep trading even like that, they've at least got a chance. Even though they get outscaled, they still need the ability to contest fights.
Well, maybe Wins has got that Eternal as well, because he's taking more turret shots. This time, however, at least he almost takes down someone with him. That was going to be Combo Cow being forced straight back. Now we're going to see Dark Binding connecting onto Braun, but he's tanking up so much damage, despite Aurelia being waiting around, not even able to steal that camp away from Sejuani.
It really kind of reeks of overconfidence, I have to say, because this very much reminds me of a phrase I've had to say to teams I've been coaching a few times. Yes, you're playing well. Yes, they may not do damage, but towers do. There's nothing you can do about that. Towers will do damage.
Yeah. London Lionhearts showing a few of the traits that we actually saw out of the Spartans last week.
Yeah, it's a nice aggressive early game that they're able to play around the Sejuani. Path very efficiently, outplayed Combo Cow completely, made Combo Cow a non-factor in this game. I have to give credit to that. Wins very good in this mid lane matchup, and of course Hyam Jacob having full control over this bot side. Playing just really well into the Xayah in lane.
Crucially, we could be looking at a 23-minute Cloud Soul as well.
Exactly. Having full control of the mid and bot lane has given them all the dragons they could ever want. Now they're going to be able to play for the Cloud Soul.
Aurelia split pushing up in the top lane does not have teleport available. That means if the Lionhearts start this dragon, you can't expect the Spartans to in any way try and fight this. It does look like the Cloud Soul is going to be acquired nice and easy by the London Lionhearts.
Well, do you know what this tells you? This tells you the game has about 7 minutes left. Because Elder Dragon is now on the cards. We're going to see that coming up in 5 minutes' time. Securing that for the side of the London Lionhearts and forcing Stratford Spartans, crucially, to contest that objective should win them the game. And that should be as simple as that, giving them this movement speed boost as well from the Cloud Soul. It's just allowing them to rotate so much quicker that the 1-3-1, which is the aim from Stratford Spartans here with the Aurelia and the Riven, is just not relevant as they stop the recall so nicely.
True Shot Barrage is going to stop Combo Cow from going back. Go back he does with the Chrono Shift, but he's not going to get back to base. Not even close. Girish getting that one onto the opposition jungler, and that's going to be the go mark for the London Lionhearts to start the Baron.
It ends up recalling on a ward in enemy territory and gets spotted out as crucially London Lionhearts are gifted this Baron, and you know what, they might not need that 7 minutes.
No, they are going to be getting themselves a Baron buff on 5 members, London Lionhearts now with a 4,000 gold lead before they even get all that extra gold from the Baron.
The Riven just trying to deny them as much CS as she can to this bot lane tower, deny them some gold, but they are picking up all the gold they need elsewhere. They are 5,000 in the lead. And now this Baron should allow them to blow open the extra towers, pick up all the extra standing gold on the map.
Some crucial items there. We've now got the completed Mana Moon for the Echelons, along with the Trinity Force you got early on. The Blade of the Rune King alongside the Essence Rune for the Lucian does mean that Wind is going to be doing some incredible damage as well. Those 2 ADCs very much so going to be ripping through the health bars of the Spartans. And right now, even though you've got a team full of carries, it's only Purity who has kills to their name.
We're sieging mid, Sejuani. Where are you? Clearing Krugs. I want my Warmog spikes. As they all have to reset, you know, spend their gold, get the key item spikes like we're alluding to. That Warmogs for Sejuani is huge here. It is active at around, I believe, level 9 for her with her base health, the Cinder Hulk and the Warmogs. So she has more than 3,000, which she should do.
Overcast taking a lot of damage there,
and
that is going to be the Featherstorm just to dodge away from the True Shot Barrage. Overcast is going to be sent back to base as this storm from the London Lionhearts continues to grow around the mid lane. Meanwhile, Purity, the member of the Spartans who has the kills, looking for another one onto Kira, who has used the ultimate, is not able to survive. The Wind Slash comes through, and just like that, Purity takes 1 kill, but Hyam Jacob gets a return on the combo cow here in the mid lane. This is going to be Jerome in all sorts of trouble despite throwing down the Vanguards there. Double kill for the Ezreal, make it a triple, and now might even make it a quadra. Overcast being charged down. Here comes Rosalina for 1 and 9 on the Sejuani, tanking turret shots for days with the newly acquired Warmogs.
And now this wave is going to hit the tower. They've got the 4 members here. They should be able to burst this one down, even if it is just 2 minions left. Inhib is gone. Maybe the game as well shortly afterwards, as another wave is arriving with Baron Empowerment.
And yes, Kira died, but it meant that Purity, the one slightly fed member of the Stratford Spartans lineup, was not present in any kind of defense here. This now in the last stand. Combo Cow is back alive. This is going to be a 4 versus 2. Kira has the teleport available. He's going to charge that one up, joining the fray. That is good damage coming onto the Brawn, but that's not the target the Spartans need to take down. Dashing forward, Rosalina lands the knocker, but just like that, Riven and Morgana are deleted from the battlefield. The Rift is losing blue members by the second. Stratford Spartans lose 4. They only get 1 in return, and the London Lionhearts take the base. They take their first win in the Belong Arena Clash Spring Split.
And they have a clean road through to the Nexus now. A few bumps in the top lane, but overall, this mid and AD carry were too much to bear. Amazing pathing from Rosalina as well. London Lionhearts take this 1-0.
That is going to be a lead for the London Lionhearts. 1 up in this best of 3 series. Just waiting to hear news in terms of if we've got any further games that we're able to bring you. We've just heard, unfortunately, due to further issues with the league client, we do not have any more games from that series that we're able to bring you tonight, which is disappointing because that was some good action. It was really nice to see our current reigning champions up against the Spartans there.
Definitely good, yeah.
Not so good for the Spartans, who obviously they could come back in this series, which now will be played
Still very
off-stream.
difficult, yeah.
But it's going to be a real uphill battle, and then the group itself becomes even more of an uphill battle at 0-2.
We saw an ability to actually get back into that game. We saw kind of... They were playing so aggressively on the map, but in terms of their choices, itemization, and map movements as a whole, they let their foot off the gas a little bit too early, kind of coasted towards the finish line there. And that was really the London Lionhearts showing a little bit of weakness that I hope somebody else in the league can at least try and capitalize on.
It is with great sadness that we have to bring our Belong Arena Clash League of Legends stream to a slightly early conclusion, unfortunately, tonight. Only the 1 game from each of those 2 series. Best of luck to the 4 teams that will be completing those off-broadcast, and to all of the other teams in the league. To all of you out there who have stuck with us on Twitch chat, thank you so much. And to our great production team who have had all sorts of issues to deal with tonight. Never mind these 2 kooky casters. Thank you to them as well. But from Stanley Greyheart Barker and from Stuart Sim McLeod, good night.